Well, hello everybody. So rusty at this. There we go. Hello. I keep looking in the spot the camera should be. Hello. Thank you all for joining. Hour behind. Because the fancy $4,000 Canon camera decides not to connect to the $4,000 Mac laptop for some reason. I have to use the terrible built-in webcam, so it's a live feed. It's a thing. Frankenstein weather forecaster. I like that, but I don't like the connotation that's around. Oh, did you hear about the tornado? I think it was a confirmed tornado today. Well, yeah, today. It was I think near Buffalo. Did you hear about that Buffalo tornado today? It was very interesting because it happened and they sent out a survey team and confirmed it within hours. Usually you don't confirm a tornado till the next day. But also, yes, I am back. Sometimes, YouTube doesn't pay, and I gotta do stuff that pays the bills. So, unfortunately, YouTube has to take a break every so often. However, in my absence, I have gained quite a few subscribers. I am at the highest amount of subscribers I've ever had on this channel. Last time I checked was 233. Yes, it was yesterday then in Buffalo. But we do have quite a weather week to talk about. And before we get started with that, I'll go right off the bat to stay updated with the weather and get your NOAA weather radios. I have the affiliate link for bettersaferadio.com in the description of this stream. So it's always good to have a weather radio. Turn that on. This is also in a ham radio, so emergency communication radio, which you should have anyway if, a tropical system happens to be coming up your way. So emergency communication and
Spring Harbor,
NOAA Weather Radio.
Northport, Lake Ronkonkoma, and Kings Park. Turn around. Don't drown when encountered.
So these are always good to have because if the power goes out and the internet goes down, and if you have some sort of backup battery, then you can keep these charged. Also, what's nice is you can have multiple batteries. These batteries come out. This particular one is USB-C, so it can charge either by plopping it into the charging dock or by USB-C, which is great. And another thing to mention, which just no affiliate, flashlight. This is a time you definitely want to have these flashlights. They may be a little bit brighter than your iPhone. So these are a couple of things you should always have ready to go. Batteries for the flashlight itself, backup batteries, emergency food supply. I actually might have that'd be a neat short, I'm thinking. A YouTube short to do of how to prepare for a storm. Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you, self. What do you all think of that? Hurricane season always makes me very jealous of Canadian and European cities being generally well out of the way of tropical storm tracks. Debbie has south, northeast inside forecast cone. Yes, we will take a look at the forecast cone as well. I bet most of them are ghosts. Ah, I see. I bet most of them are ghosts or bots because they don't show up in your live streams. It could be. Crazier part was it started in Canada and crossed. I didn't know that part. It started in Canada. I'm thinking south northeast. That's a weird direction. Southern New England. Okay. You should do shorts on what not to do during tornadoes. I like that idea. We just need to get a tornado, and I have to get to it, and I have to do the things that you should not be doing in the tornado to show why you shouldn't be doing them in the tornado because of the movie Twisters. I have not seen it yet. Some of my friends from FiOS, they actually did see it. For instance, Addison Green, he said he gave it an 8 out of 10, both for enjoyment and entertainment, as well as scientific accuracy. And I have seen the extreme meteorologist, Reed Timmer, or Dr. Reed Timmer now, rate it, and he rated it fairly well. Oh, awesome, Raymond. Congrats on that. You got your Skywarn training. In my college years, this is going back into like I think it was 2010. Yeah, 2010. That's when I first became a certified Skywarn spotter, because they actually came to my college, since it was known as a meteorology college, and they hosted an event there, and all of the students got the chance to get a certification to be a Skywarn spotter. So awesome job there. So shorts on what not to do during a tornado. I also think I should do the shorts of how to prep for a storm. So that would be pretty cool. Oh, one other thing. I'll grab it real quick here. I'm not even going to change things. Speaking of the night and the stream, the drink for the night is Aviation Gin Deadpool Limited Edition. This was really cool to find. Aviation Gin is Ryan Reynolds' brand of gin, and with Deadpool and Wolverine, we now have some special edition ones. So this is Aviation Gin American Gin Deadpool Limited Edition. I'm trying to get the other one, which is the Wolverine limited edition. They're the same. It's the same exact gin. It's just limited edition bottles. So that I am excited to try and get. Yes, it is almost Halloween season, so I am the Frankenstein Weather Channel. Okay. Well, I will say a good cheers to that. It actually makes a good gin and tonic. I don't know. I know, Raymond, you said you don't drink, and Delvin, I'm not sure if you do, but gin is something that is very taste and sensational part. Botanical. So this, the aviation gin, has most of the flavors up front. The other gin I like, which is Hendrick's gin. I have not tried one that is recommended to me called Bar Hill, which is a honey-based gin. But Hendrick's gin, that was pretty good. But the flavors aren't up front. The flavors come in on the back end of the taste. Stormfront Freaks. Okay. I haven't heard of that one, so I'll have to check that one out. But let's get started taking a look at some weather. So we'll actually start out with the radar. So let me switch on over to the radar here. There we go. Cool. So with the radar, this has changed. So we have pretty much a square right here of this severe thunderstorm watch. Yep, there we go. Come on. 2 hours, 46 minutes remaining. So about 11 p.m. this should be ending. 1.5 inch size hails with 65 mile per hour winds. So this has made its way through, and I have been watching this both inside the house and outside the house. There's New York City. That's about where I am. So we had a lot come through before. That made its way out. And then it kind of just turned into some heavier showers with no thunderstorms. And it looks like there's another line coming through here. But this looks like it's dipping south. And as it's going to approach the coast, it's probably going to start losing some intensity. So there we are starting. And then coming back into this general area where all the storm action is happening, we have small craft advisories. Oh, no. Severe thunderstorm watch. There we go with the pink. It was almost the same color. Is it? Nope, they're different. Flood advisory. What we got? Flash flood warnings. So we got a lot happening right now. 3 months from now, it will be dark at 4 p.m. in Boston. Just saw that one. Yeah, so 3 months from now. Will be August, September, October, November. 3 months from now will be November. That's interesting to think about. Anyway, back to here. Quite a few advisories. If we go east, if we go west, severe thunderstorm warnings. There's no tornado warnings out there. I believe there was one in northwest Pennsylvania not too long ago. Heading up north, really nothing, because this is more focused right now around the New York City area. And heading up into Massachusetts, more in New England, there's really nothing yet. I don't think it's really going to get up that far north. All right, convective outlook, kind of what we know. Enhanced risk, that was from today. That's where we saw, I believe, right about here was a tornado warning. And it's probably all focused right there as it's making its way out. That's what's happening right now, but we're also going to spend a little bit of time talking about Tropical Storm Debbie. Debbie. Let's take a closer look here at the Cone of Uncertainty. I don't think they did have a press conference, the National Hurricane Service, about an enhancement to all this. But I don't think it's in place yet because this looks the same. Right? Ah, yes, the 3-month period of losing daylight fairly rapidly. I hear some thunders around me. So I don't know if you caught my Vision Pro weather forecast from a couple days ago, but it showed on the GFS. So this is kind of where it was before when it did this weird thing. So it started here. Zoom in a bit. So it started here. It crossed through Florida, through Georgia, came out to sea into South Carolina, but then it started backtracking, going through South Carolina again, Georgia again, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi. So it went back there, and then it went back up the East Coast. And I remember I said that probably wouldn't happen. Did I say National Hurricane Service? Because I said National Weather Service, and then I corrected to National Hurricane Center. Maybe it should be National Hurricane Service. No, I did not hear about this. NASA streaming service, NASA Plus. What could NASA Plus be Is it free? I will check it out at the end. But I hope it's free because it's a government entity. We're already paying for the NASA website and the National Hurricane Service website. That's a joke. All those websites, National Weather Service, National Hurricane Center, the NOAA site, we're paying for those with our taxes already. So I hope they are not charging a stream fee for it. All right, back to this. Now we are getting into the uncertain part of the Cone of Uncertainty. So it's a slow mover here. 8 a.m. Tuesday, or 8 p.m. Tuesday, so where we are right now, through 2 a.m. Thursday. It basically just goes from the Georgia-South Carolina border to the South Carolina-North Carolina border. That's all it does in 2 days of movement. But then it starts picking up speed, probably because we have some westerlies that are enhancing the speed. So we go from 2 a.m. Friday there, 2 p.m. Saturday. That same time frame, it could be traveling much faster. Oh, awesome. I'm glad that it's free. I will definitely have to check that out. Is it like an app to download, or is it just a website to go to? I'm also just looking at what the latest was, the 8 p.m. advisory. Doing an intermediate advisory. Sustained winds. 73 miles per hour. Oh, wait, no. 40 miles per hour. I'm looking at the wrong spot. 40 miles per hour. So, definitely in the tropical storm range. Almost depression. But it's showing here it's going to weaken from a storm to a depression. Also, I believe there was something else out here. 10% chance of cyclone formation. Okay. Debbie expected to become. Is this updated? Oh, wow. I was like, Debbie expected to become a hurricane. I don't think so. Here we go. Center of Debbie now offshore of the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. Major flood threat for portions of southeastern United States this week. Yes, because they have said that there was over a foot of rain that has dropped already. Rainfall potential. So that's kind of where it looks like whatever model they're using for the rain. Let's say here. Or this might not be a model. This might be a forecast. But it looks like that's where the spine of the rain's going to be. But still going into New York City. That's in the oranges. That's 6 to 8 inches of rain. That's not insignificant. Ah, cool. Thank you, Raymond. There was one other interesting one. Peak surge. So storm surge, not that bad. Up to 3 feet, up to 4 feet. Oh. Quite the rumblies I'm hearing. I think I am hearing that lightning right there. That's not too far from where I am. Hello, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. We were just discussing a little bit of Debbie, but also I'm hearing a lot of thunder around me, so I went back to the radar. Because we are still, for the most part, here, Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York City area. A little bit into Connecticut. Well, Connecticut is the New York City area, but we are in a severe thunderstorm watch. Okay. So that's a little tease at what's going on right now with Debbie. On the big picture, so now we did look at the localized radar. That's our system coming through right there, which is a lot of the heavy rain and the storms. There's Debbie. Now, I believe there would be more in this area here, but it's too far offshore for the radar to see. Now, when we if we consider this and look at this here as an eye, the eye of Debbie is very wide. So that's why it's not really strong. It's a tropical storm. A hurricane would have a much smaller eye wall. Try to get me to expand my world on YouTube. Well, I appreciate that. And cheers to that. Oh, also besides the not affiliated, not sponsored, the Deadpool Aviation Gin mix, Gamers Nexus has some great drinkware. So this is a copper mule mug from Gamers Nexus with the thermal conductivity formula for copper imprinted on the outside. All right, back to this. So, what's going to happen next? Well, let's jump right into now those forecast models. So we're on the good old Tropical Tidbits website here, and we're on the Eastern U.S. view. So here, what are we on? The 18Z run of the GFS. So by this time, which we should be at 0Z there. Actually, I think it's a little ahead. So that's probably what's going through here. This, I think the GFS is showing here. The GFS is slightly ahead. Also, let's watch the center of Debbie. Its behavior is a little bit better than what we saw before. Just for some laughs, let's go back a couple of days. That is what I was talking about before, which seems very unlikely. So it's a hurricane there. By the time it gets to the Georgia-South Carolina border, it stalls and then backtracks. That I just didn't think was going to happen. And then it makes its way up. It may re-strengthen to a hurricane there, but it's still going out to sea. And that was Wednesday. So by the time it still gets to the same latitude, it's Wednesday versus, say, like Friday or Saturday. So the GFS has changed quite a bit in this time. Going back to the 18Z run, it doesn't go out to sea as a hurricane or anything like that. It kind of stays inland. It looks like another low pressure interacts with it here, kind of like I was saying with the westerlies, breaking all the moisture apart. So it's really coming in overnight Friday into Saturday here. Saturday looks like a pretty bad day, which I am off this Saturday. Woo! So I'll be able to try and get some nice tropical remnant coverage for you. All right, so GFS. Now let's switch it up to the Euro. And one thing I want to say with the Euro, which I said in my last video with the video I did from Inside the Vision Pro, was I had a professor. He, Dr. Owino, he specialized in tropical forecasting. He was more of a research meteorologist, PhD meteorologist, versus a on-air media person. However, he made a very interesting statement, and I haven't seen much to disagree with it. That statement was, if the tropical system forms in the tropics, so the tropics on Earth are between 20 degrees south and 20 degrees north. If it forms in that range and it turns into a named system, the Euro handles it the absolute best compared to any other forecast model. Now, he made that claim probably about 2012. So it's been 12 years since then, and I haven't seen much to really disagree with it. I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying he's wrong. It's just there needs to be a good analysis of this, maybe like a case study. That would be quite an intensive case study of which system is best with tropical systems that form in the tropics. You want to try and narrow your research that way. So that was one thing he said. And another thing I have noticed, let me go to the radar here. We're just going to zoom out. Look at that, tornado watch. All right, San Juan, Puerto Rico. This is something I have theorized, and I will probably do a research paper at some point. But we're going to put our center around Puerto Rico. Not just because I'm biased, because I am Puerto Rican, but this was something I asked about in a college course over a decade ago, and no one really had an answer. All right, so the lifespan of a tropical system really starts from Africa. We come off Africa, we travel down around the Atlantic Ocean. The subtropical high is spinning clockwise right in this vicinity. So that's following that moisture there. And then it comes into, or follows the Gulf Stream, and it comes into the Caribbean. Now, if the storm is already formed and named, and kind of going with what Dr. Owino was talking about, if the system passes south of Puerto Rico, so if my mouse cursor is the eye, the center of rotation, and it passes south of Puerto Rico, even just south, the majority of the time, it's going to head to the west coast of Florida and into the Gulf of Mexico and here. So actually, it would be really interesting to see where Debbie came from. It was south of San Juan, of Puerto Rico, because this is the beginnings of my theory here. If it passes south of Puerto Rico, it's heading to the Gulf of Mexico, west coast of Florida, or somewhere around the states around the Gulf of Mexico. If it heads over Puerto Rico, it's going to hit around the east coast of Florida, follow kind of the coastline of the east coast up, and be a problem system for us. If the center of low passes, or the center of rotation passes north Puerto Rico, it might try and get to land, but it usually will turn and go out to sea. So it might be a storm for Bermuda right there. So if it passes north of Puerto Rico, it could head what looks like towards the coast, and then turns and then heads over Bermuda. Or it heads towards the coast, it goes up a little bit into the Carolinas, and then goes out to sea. But it never really heads into the northeast. Yes, Raymond, I 100% agree with you. I need more time in my free time to write a case study on this, of Puerto Rico being the forecast anchor for where the system is going to go. Boston is in a unique situation, or not situation, but unique area, where even if, with my theory, the low center of rotation passes over Puerto Rico, heads up the coastline, even if it heads in, so let's say it's where Debbie is now and follows up, it's really not going to head north long enough to hit Boston. It's really going to curve because of the location of the subtropical high. Yes, and this might be just because of the shape. I can't zoom out anymore. But it might be just because of the shape of the subtropical high, spinning clockwise like that, where it just can't get it up to Boston. It always just pulls it out to sea. Which is also why I really don't hear about hurricanes hitting Canada. Also, by that time, hurricanes really need 80-degree water or warmer than that to build and sustain. But when you get to Canada, even kind of the case for Boston, the water temperature is just not warm enough. So I have put out my theory. It is streamed. It is saved on YouTube. I'm recording locally to my computer here. So if anyone tries to steal my idea, my theory, I've claimed it first here. We're going to say a little cheers to that. This is a really good gin. May not be the fanciest gin, but the aviation gin. It's also not the most expensive. It was almost half the price of the Hendrix gin. All right. Back to here. So ignoring Debbie. Ignore all that for right now. Let's see where this system goes and how it interacts with Debbie without just following Debbie. All right, so Tuesday, 0Z, which is just about now, it's a little bit more accurate there when we look at the radar. Again, because this is not radar, this is a 3-hour average precipitation rate. So it's showing here a little bit more west than what the GFS showed. I like the way you put it, super extremely dangerous extratropical systems, which is essentially what Sandy was. Hurricane Sandy was a hurricane, not a superstorm. There's no such thing in meteorology as a superstorm, no matter what the media likes to say. Hurricane Sandy, they classified as a post-tropical system the moment it made landfall. Whether that be for political reasons or for insurance reasons, that maybe the director of the National Hurricane Center might be in the pocket of insurance companies. I don't know. I'm not saying anything like that right now. What I am saying is it turned from a hurricane to post-tropical system. Or post-tropical system. That doesn't mean it got any weaker. So, Delvin, I like the way you say that. Extremely dangerous extratropical system. Because there's people here, extratropical, post-tropical. They're like, oh, it's almost over. Not necessarily. Okay, so let's see how these two interact. It's interesting there is this line right in between there. Oh, I skipped ahead. Let's go back to the GFS. It also kind of shows this line in between here. So this system makes its way through, and this is 8 a.m. Wednesday. Yeah, Debbie really just stalls there, which allows, I guess, from the high, the position of the high, it allows this system to just kind of run away. And that makes its way out. So Wednesday starts not so good, clears out a little bit. But then Thursday again, more rain as we're getting chunks, I guess you could say, of Debbie making its way up. And then here, that system from Canada starts ripping Debbie apart and pulls, and that kind of matches what the National Hurricane Center was showing with the most amount of precipitation. Delvin, maybe Boston just has like an ozone effect layer over it. There's too many people using hairspray over Boston, which is creating a bubble around Boston. That's just a joke. That has no scientific fact. So Saturday doesn't look like it's going to be a good day. Sunday, there's still some remnant showers coming through, but then Monday, starting the day looks okay, but then Monday evening, some showers. Nothing too much there. The isobars aren't too close, so that means not very a strong pressure gradient, so no, not really windy. High pressure comes in after that, so Tuesday looks good. Then overnight, Tuesday into Wednesday, some showers south of the New York City area there, going into the Delmarva area. High comes in, so upstate New York looks good. Then Wednesday, high pressure moves out, some scattered showers. High pressure comes back in, going into Thursday. Whoa, what was that? This. The GFS is trying to spin up a tropical system a little bit out to sea. So this would be an example with my professor's theory, with the Euro specific model. So if this, let's just say it's going to happen 100%, which means this tropical storm, let's say, forms outside the tropics. So let's follow this map down to 20 degrees north. Down a little bit more. Oh, we're at 20, okay, 22, 21 and change. So right at the bottom here, that's 20 degrees north. Just about. This system formed well north of 20 degrees north, meaning the Euro won't have a good handle on it. Another interesting thing to follow. But anyway, ignoring that. And next week, I'm really only going to end about Tuesday into Wednesday, because 1 week, I don't really like to go beyond that. Although the forecast model can, I just don't trust it. All right, now let's rewind this. Go back to the beginning, and now we're going to switch to the Euro. Okay, 0Z, August 4th. That is not correct. 12Z, August 6th. There we go. More intense, it looks like, on the Euro than the GFS. So this system goes through the overnight hours, night into tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Doesn't look like a good start to the day. It clears out a little bit later in the day. Except once you get to like central Jersey and south. Then not so much. And then it comes back in overnight Wednesday into Thursday with more showers. Which at this point, it almost seems like it's siphoning some energy off of Debbie. So Thursday doesn't look good. Then here comes Friday. Friday has a very interesting path for Debbie, which is also kind of in line with what the National Hurricane Center is. Just your ordinary Dino fan. Thank you for joining, and thank you. I hope you're enjoying the content. So that makes its way up. So this kind of follows. Going back to National Hurricane Center. Where'd you go? National Hurricane Service, I guess we'll say. Where'd you go, really? Oh, there it is. Lost it for a second. We're going to go into the rainfall potential. So from the National Hurricane Service, from the Weather Prediction Center, this is where it's showing kind of the spine of the heavy rain. And then when we look at here, look at that. The Euro is pretty much right on there. We'll keep the framing the same. Just switch back to the GFS. Not as intense, but kind of in that same area, which is, okay, fairly consistent there. So this doesn't go out to sea. This actually stays in place. Right there. That's overnight Friday into Saturday. Saturday, very different picture. Let's see, 18Z Saturday. Go back here, 18Z Saturday. All right, 18Z Saturday, there's one picture. 18Z Saturday, there's another picture. This is kind of what we were looking at before with the GFS doing this weird backtrack and then going north, or not that far, but backtrack to say Louisiana or Alabama, Mississippi, and then out. So the GFS may not have a good handle on this, which is interesting. Going back into what my professor was saying. And the Euro may be the more believable one. Wait, Raymond, are you saying there are AI weather forecast models? I have not heard of this yet. I have used AI models. If you actually looked at my very last video, which I did with the Vision Pro, that one, the thumbnail, I used an AI image generator, which was Adobe Firefly. The prompt I typed in was a creepy eye of a hurricane looking into your soul. Joe and Joe was messing with them on their channel. I'm going to have to reach out to them and ask. I was like, what is this AI weather forecast model? Actually, let me send this to a couple of my friends. Really are into AI. I'm gonna do a quick switch so we don't see any text messages that might be leaked. Switch over here. Good friends from work, which are friends. Here we go. Cool. So let them know. Now we are back. Cool. All right, so those were the Euro and the GFS. They start out not too far apart, and then they widen in their outputs, which was similar to before. Where was the other one? H-Wharf. Oh, I guess the H-Wharf here is more of a test environment, so that's probably why Amelia and Fabio are there, because we are not on E and F yet. A, B, C, D, E, F. Oh, that was interesting. It keeps the center of the low in the center of the frame. That's interesting to look at. But I am also seeing the H-Wharf here is doing what the GFS did, which was very wrong. It had this backtrack from South Carolina into Georgia just a little bit. before starting to head north. But here, we are seeing 0Z Sunday. This is 8 p.m. Saturday. Pretty much right on top of the Jersey Shore, which is in line with what the others were saying. And then it heads out to sea. Oh, I mean, that's a close. It's not, at this point, it's not a hurricane, but it's close to Boston. All right. Weird one to look at, but okay. The icon model. Let's take a look at what's going on here. This is probably when I did the last video was August 4th, so we're gonna switch that now to August 6th. All right, this is showing 0Z. Yep. So it's initializing pretty well. Then, oh, that's bringing up some pretty intense rain overnight tonight. On again, off again through the next couple of days. Then here comes Thursday night. The outer bands of Debbie. And it doesn't go due north like the Euro did. It doesn't go out to sea. Well, the GFS did. It kind of did it in between. But still, right here, this is a pretty close approach where, even though that's not the New York City area, it's very close to the New York City area. And this is 03Z Saturday. So overnight, Friday into Saturday. By the time we get to Saturday morning, it's pretty much out of most of the area here until we start getting into upper New England. And then the wind is still with us into Sunday, but it's clearer. And that's the end there. If I can just backtrack to the 12Z. A little bit further out. High kind of stays in place and acts kind of like a shield through Tuesday night next week. All right, the NAM, obviously, that if we know this is not going to go out as far, this is really just to look at day into the next couple of days. So this is a forecast model that is simulated radar. Let's go to 0Z. So that was the picture from 0Z. Okay. Not too far off. And then let's see what happens. It kind of splits the line. That becomes a bit more of a northerly branch. Starting out your day on Wednesday. Still looks showery, just not as bad. Here comes some more storms in the afternoon Wednesday going up. These are probably little bits, or as I was saying before, little chunks of Debbie coming up. And then there's not really a big clearing. There's maybe a couple of hours of clearing until some more comes through. So Thursday still looks showery. Friday, that's when the rain really starts, and there's Debbie. Right there. That is 8 p.m. Friday. That's very thin, but it's also very intense. Also, look at these isobars. Very close together, so that's a tight pressure gradient, so it's going to be windy, as I would expect with a tropical system. Okay. Oh, interesting. Raymond, are those AI models officially run by the European Weather Agency? I forgot exactly what they're called, or the National Weather Service with the GFS. I think both are a thing. Okay, that's something to look at another time, but I want to find out also if they are officially run. All right. So that's the NAM. And that's the end of the NAM. We are at the 84. There we go. Now we're at the 84-hour mark, which is 2 a.m. Saturday. That's as far as we're going to see, but if you also notice the NAM here, if I would put the heaviest kind of from here to there, let's say, it is a bit more east than what the Weather Prediction Center is saying here. So, again, interesting to take a look at. Again, the even smaller one, 3 kilometer NAM, is not going to go out as far. It only goes 60 hours out. Yep, August 6th, we're on the correct day. Here's those little storms coming through, so 0Z. That's what it's showing for its picture of 0Z Wednesday, which is basically now. Not too far off. Okay, so it'll initialize. Maybe it overdid it a little bit on the 3 kilometer. Oh, and then it kind of just blossoms there, a bit more with shower action. Into the overnight hours and into Wednesday. Here comes Debbie. And that's about as far out as we get. It's not entirely helpful right now, so that means the HRRR, with only 48 hours out, oh, it must have just hit the new 0Z August 7th run, so we're only getting 3 frames. That's not going anywhere. Let's see if I can backtrack a little to the 18Z. Okay. Let's just jump to 0Z and see what it's showing there. And a comparison to what's actually happening. Actually, not too bad. Too far off. Showing a blob there. Blob there. Gap in the middle where it's not as intense. Gap in the middle where it's not as intense. And then a bit more of an intensity with a littler or smaller blob over there. And a smaller, it's a little bit on the bigger side, but another blob over there. So it's initializing, not too bad. So let's just see where it goes for the next couple of days. So here, Wednesday afternoon. It's actually not really showing anything besides some little showers there. So it might be underplaying it a little until we get to here. Thursday afternoon. Where we can't really see anything beyond that. Okay. So we have gone a little over an hour now. So what I'm going to do is we're going to switch over to play a little bit of Minecraft. And National Weather Service calls for 3 to 5 inches of rain between now and midnight, New York State. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. This is some intense rain we're going to be seeing. Oh, New York City. Yes, still. I would believe that. All right, so a quick intermission. And then be right back. Don't go anywhere. Almost intermission. Hang on briefly. There we go. All right, we are back. Interesting music playlist I have. That one I just typed angry because the weather's angry right now. Fresh drink. Here's everybody. All right. One more time here. Little affiliate. I'm using here a radio from Better Safe Radio. I have my affiliate link down below in the description. It is good to have some sort of emergency communication system. So I believe one of my friends that is a comms specialist in the Army Reserve right now, they have 4 levels. So your primary, what we use every day, cell phone. If that goes down, if the cell network goes down, what's your secondary? Internet. So over the internet, you can still, like, iMessage would still work, and WhatsApp would still work. So all those types of things would still work. Or Facebook Messenger or Instagram or something like that. Secondary. So cell service, internet. Third, not digital. First 2 were digital. Radios. Because the radio system, the way radios work, you don't need a central point. For instance, with the cell phone network, if the towers go down, 2 cell phones cannot talk directly together. Same thing with the internet. If the internet goes down, 2 devices can't talk directly together. But if you get 2 radios, they can directly talk to each other. And like this one's a ham radio frequencies. If you really want to get into it, you can talk to somebody on the other side of the world. Now, one I have worked with, actually a repeater system. And the repeater system, I was able to hear people all the way from Europe to Japan. That's how vast the ham radio repeater networks can go. You can also get some weird things where you're bouncing radio frequencies off the ionosphere, just to angle around, because the Earth is curved. It is not flat. We're not going into that. The Earth is curved, so you can angle the beam to hit one part of the atmosphere and come down the other, and then you're talking at that part of the globe versus this part of the globe, so you can bend around the atmosphere that way. Beyond the radio horizon, as I have been learning in my ham radio course. So I might run a special if anybody wants to get. If you want to get, say, a 5 or 10% discount, I might do something with that shortly. But some sort of emergency radio is something you should get. Oh, also because it has, specifically with Better Safe Radio, comes pre-programmed with both emergency channels, so you can actually listen to like the fire. Let me see. I have mine programmed here to the local fire dispatch. The police dispatch is in a system called a truncated system. So basically, an analog radio can't read it, but there are apps for that. However, I can hear the fire dispatch on this frequency that I have that is pre-programmed. Kind of cool. But then also, there we go, the NOAA weather radio.
Impact, flash flooding of small creeks and streams.
So I can get that as well. There we go. So it's good to have. Affiliate link below. All right, beyond that, see what we got in the chat here. Gamez. Jose, if that's you, hope everyone's doing well. Yes, doing very well. Kind of wild to me that some say weather in places like the UK or northwestern Europe is worse. But if one thinks about it, US Northeast has worse weather. Yes, I 100% agree. And I understand where those people are coming from. What they're saying is that the weather is worse because it's continuously meh weather. Or as I have learned from Ireland, Drish weather. Drish, or like gray and rainy, muggy weather. So that weather is very consistent. That's where there's a stereotype, I guess you could say a stereotype, of London nights are all foggy and rainy. So when you walk down cobblestone streets in London, because it's very historic, those streets, just lit by some streetlights, it's very eerie. Kind of the territory with Jack the Ripper. But that's the idea, that the weather is worse because it's meh or drish weather, but consistently like that. Versus in the Northeast US. In the Northeast, we have a very unique situation where we can experience all 4 seasons throughout the year. Not everywhere in the world can experience all 4 seasons. Some people have just a wet, rainy season and a dry season. Some people just are in cold all the time and snowy. Some people also, they like the Alaska tundra, are just cold, but you have a milder temperature, milder cold, that is dry and then milder and or cold and snowy. So you really don't experience hot summers with 100 degrees. You don't experience sub-zero weather with ice storms, snowstorms, and nor'easters. You don't experience hurricanes. You don't experience tornadoes. But you do in the Northeast US. So that's where, growing up in the Northeast US and experiencing all 4 seasons, I feel like has helped me as a professional meteorologist. because firsthand I can say what all four seasons feel like. So I agree with that sentiment that it seems like a lot of people say that the weather in Europe is worse, but it's not bad weather, but it's meh weather, but it's meh weather all the time. Versus here, we can get some really bad weather. AC is necessary in the US Northeast, but less in Europe, and heating is not as important in Australian cities. Weirdly enough, New York City, Boston has higher summer average temperatures than Melbourne, Australia. That's an interesting fact I did not know. I'm the kind of person that prefers temperatures ranging between 50 and 77 year round. Also ideal for cycling, outdoor weather, without sweating like crazy. I agree with you. I don't like that big of a range. I'm kind of in two modes. I'm in a snow mode and a temperate mode. Kind of sometimes warm, but never hot. I always say I like 68-degree weather. Everywhere in my house, I set the temperature 68 degrees. The car, I set 68 degrees. So when outdoors it is 68 degrees, I'm very happy. Cheers to that. As I drip out of the side of my mouth. But I do love snow. If it can snow at 68 degrees, oh, I would be so happy. But also sometimes I like 80-degree weather, but not humid 80-degree weather. If it's 80 degrees with dew points in the 50s, oh, that I would love. West Plays, hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. In Boston, New York City, we only get those temps for like 3 to 5 weeks in the spring and the fall. Most European, Australian cities have those temps for majority of the year. Canada cities with less heat. Doing good, awesome. And you subscribe. Thank you so much for the subscription. I really appreciate that. I'm really trying to grow the channel. I know in the past couple of weeks I haven't been on the channel. Just some work stuff kind of got in the way of streams and uploads, but looks like going forward I should be good. There's nothing out of the ordinary, at least for another month-ish, that would get in the way, so I should have some more regular content. So if you subscribed, I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy. Some other content, so from another person that's watching here, Raymond, he suggested a couple of things, so I'm starting to get a little bit more into shorts. A short that I came up with was storm preparedness, especially with Debbie coming up. So how to prepare for a storm will be that, and you'll see that coming up within maybe even tomorrow. You'll see a short that's how to prepare for a storm. Raymond's suggestion was what not to do in a tornado, which would be a fun short to make if I can try and find a tornado and do everything that you should not do in the tornado. So that'll be fun. All right, so we have done the weather part of the gaming forecast live. Let's start to get into the gaming part of the gaming forecast live. Minecraft tonight. Let's see if there's any. Yep, there are updates because I haven't done this in a little while. Once it's up and running, then I will switch over for you all. Just loading. The West Plays. Tell me a little bit about yourself. It's a very friendly environment here. but very scientific sometimes as well. Minecraft Java Edition is what we do. Included with PC Game Pass, but I did buy it quite a while ago. It was only $20. Well, I guess we're doing another update. Would help if I can hear things. Headphones on. There we go. Now I can hear some things. Let me see if you can hear some things as well. Switch on over. There we go. I might have to add something in here. Get this there. Cool. Game mode on. Oh, I think in here I have to add audio input capture. To add the desktop. macOS audio capture. I think I have to add a macOS audio capture in here. Not there. Oh, I see it. Here we go. macOS audio capture. Add existing. There we go. Now you should be able to hear some background music. Let me know if it's too loud. I don't think I actually have played the Minecraft since that June update. But yes, how is the audio level, everybody? 1.21, yes. See that at the bottom corner there? 1.21. Oh. My mouse is unplugged because I was troubleshooting. Give me 1 second. Can't play a video game without a mouse and just a trackpad? When you can. Okay. Now let's see. Aha, we got mouse. Okay. Let's see which one. 531. Wow, that was the last time I did this. May 31st. Okay. Play the selected world and see what happens. I think I played a little bit more after ended the stream. But Delvin, what's new in the 1.21 update? Oh, how did you get in here? Probably just spawned, because this is completely sealed. There's no external waterway. Okay. What do you think? Should I leave the squid or should I kill it for ink? Also trying to judge the audio level. Raise it maybe just a tad. See how that goes. All right. Let me know what you think of the background audio. Alright, let's see. Most of the new content is found in a new underground structure. Oh, okay. However, it would need to be found in new chunks. Since this is an old world, it will require travel to unexplored areas in the world and digging underground there. Well, if that's the case, hang on. We'll just make a new world. The gaming forecast live. Ooh. Survival, difficulty normal, allow commands. Game mode. That's fine. Create the new world. Is this image a tease as to what this underground structure is? Oh, we're in some snow. Okay. Sun's just rising, so we got some time. No climb. Old climate. So what do you think we should do first? Explore underground? Usually I like to get set up with a shelter. Ooh, my computer's stuttering a little. I don't think the stream doesn't look like it's stuttering, but my mouse input was very delayed. As I'm typing too. Am I at my computer's max right? Oh, because it's not. It's in game mode. That's why. Looks like a little chip actions happening over there with some nachos. Meg says hi. We're only using 36 of 64 gigs of RAM. Maybe 75 to 80% of the GPU, 75 to 80% of the CPU. So it's not maxing the computer. It might just be this weird game mode happening. What do we got? Sean, hello and welcome. Is Debbie going to head towards my state of Virginia? Yes. Hang on here. Going back here. So let's backtrack a little bit, and thank you for joining. I'd appreciate if you subscribe if you want to get some more updates with Debbie coming through. But let's go back here to we're on the good old Tropical Tidbits website. Backtrack a little bit. Okay. So 0Z Wednesday, that's right now. It's 8 p.m. Tuesday. So let's watch here. So there's Virginia. Whereabouts in Virginia? More of like on the coast side, on the east side, on the west side, near West Virginia. Because if you watch the low, actually, let's not do the GFS. The Euro seem to be handling this way better. Maybe not way better, but a little better. All right, so let's follow the low there. Right there. Because this is why I was asking, which part of Virginia? I tend to believe this European forecast model a little bit more than the GFS, but I'll show you both. So if you look at Virginia, that low pretty much heads straight up through the western half of Virginia, and that is a lot of rain coming through and also a lot of wind. And time frame for this. So this is overnight Thursday into Friday. So this specific picture, this is 5 a.m., 2 a.m., 5 a.m. It's going to be a bad overnight Thursday into Friday before it starts heading north into West Virginia and then Pennsylvania there for the day on Friday. Gainesville. I know a Gainesville, Florida, but nowhere near Virginia. Does it look like, just based on the picture here, does it look like that's where you are? Because that part here is where the heart of Debbie is going to be coming through. If you're more towards the coast, you're okay. Still, you're going to have some bands of heavy rain, and you're still going to get the wind, but you're not going to get the torrential, pouring rain that's going to leave maybe a foot of rain. A foot of rain is a lot, because normally we talk about snow in terms of feet, not rain. It's pouring in the Capital District in New York right now. Let's also check that out, Raymond. Let's switch to the Albany radar. It looks like you might be in a little cell because it's not widespread, but there's definitely some little heavier bits, say right there, say right here and here. So I know you have, I forgot which radar you use. You don't use the radar scope like I do. But yeah, the heavy rain's coming through. The heavy rain's kind of leaving the New York City area right now. But it's not done because there's still more. And there's still severe thunderstorm warnings in New Jersey. Let's switch over to the Jersey radar. The Mount Holly one. There's your severe thunderstorm in Jersey. And then going back this way. Okay, cool. So, Sean, I hope that helped there. But yeah, so it looks like the worst of it for Virginia specifically. Western Virginia. And it's going to be overnight Thursday. Really starting to get into Virginia. I'd say 4 p.m. Thursday. And then beyond that, it just gets worse and worse and worse until maybe 10 a.m. on Friday. It starts to make its way out in that like northern part of Virginia. But then it's also hammering West Virginia right there too. And then beyond that, it makes its heavy approach into Pennsylvania. Afternoon on Friday. New York, New York City specifically, overnight Friday into Saturday morning. Upstate New York, same thing, overnight Friday into Saturday morning. But Debbie's gonna be a fairly quick but intense storm. All right, back to gaming. Back to game. Am I going to have lightning? Sean, yes, I will say you will definitely have lightning. It may not be frequent lightning that you'll see in like a severe thunderstorm, but I'd say there'd be lightning out there. So I would say, if I were you, start your storm preparedness right now. This is probably a video I'm gonna make tomorrow, which is a YouTube short, and maybe I don't have TikTok. A lot of people say I should do TikTok, including family members. But the wife says no TikTok, but the sister-in-law says make a TikTok. And also this other TikTok that the sister-in-law says is what the news doesn't want you to know. I feel like that would be pretty viral. What the news doesn't want you to know, because we know some news stations are biased. The news station I worked for, they did have me make a biased weather forecast. So if I'm forecasting 3 to 6 inches of snow, the executive producer would tell me, don't say that. Say up to half a foot of snow. Ooh, wow, there's a lot of minerals over here. Huh. Anyway, the forecast is technically the same. 6 inches is half a foot of snow. But if I'm saying on the television up to half a foot of snow, that sounds worse in terms of perception. Because this is something I've learned both from my career at Apple and my career with the news station. Perception is reality. Up to half a foot of snow sounds and is perceived worse than 3 to 6 inches of snow. Let's chop some wood. Government might ban the app TikTok. Yes, I have heard this before. Honestly, I don't think they can. That's getting into a lot of legal gray areas that I don't like to discuss on this channel. Sean, the wind on Thursday is going to be 11 miles per hour. Where are you getting that from? Let's go back here. On Thursday. So let's go to Thursday, which might be correct. So, Virginia. So we're starting 8 a.m. Thursday. There's not much happening there. So 11 mile per hour winds. Totally believable. 2 p.m. Still not bad. It's getting a little bit more. And what I'm looking at for judging the wind speed are these black lines. These black lines here are called isobars. When they get close together like this, that's very intense. So that right there is probably around 40 mile per hour winds in the area where my mouse is. Yours is probably about 20 at that time, which is say 4 p.m. and 4 p.m. Thursday. But then by the time you get to 8 p.m. Thursday in here, then you are looking at the 40 mile per hour winds. But also, in this same time frame, Northern Virginia is seeing maybe 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. It's really just focused around the center of the low. Yeah, Sean, if you heard that from AccuWeather or FoxWeather, that is probably accurate for the day. Because starting out the day, 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., I would totally believe that we're seeing 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. The heart of Debbie is going to come in overnight Thursday into Friday. So starting maybe between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Thursday, going through overnight Thursday. So this is 11 p.m., 2 a.m. Thursday, 2 a.m. Thursday, really, and 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Thursday. That's really the heart of it. Because then it starts to make its way out of Virginia into West Virginia. Flooding, yes, I will say flash flooding is definitely possible because of 2 points. One of them is the wind. The wind-driven rain can cause water to build up in certain areas. And 2, because your rainfall rates are going to be very intense. So even though, let me see if I can switch this in a second, but this is 3-hour average precipitation rate in millimeters per hour. So let's say we take this time frame, 2 a.m. Friday, right there in the red. The red is 12 to 16. So let's say 14 millimeters of rain per hour. Let's convert that. 14 millimeter is half an inch. A little over half an inch. So half an inch of rain per hour is happening right in there. So if this is over the course of, say, 4 hours, you're getting 2 inches of rain. That's intense. It's not as intense as Georgia. Going back here, it didn't happen everywhere, but somewhere in those darker reds, like right in there. That was probably, say, 20 to 24. So let's say 20. Right there. It's in that chunk there. So let's say 22. 22 millimeters. And yes, most scientific stuff here is in millimeters, in metric. So let's convert this. So we got 22 millimeters. 0.87 inches, so let's just say just about an inch. They were getting an inch of rain per hour, and that lasted one. Oh, just in that frame, it lasted one, but again, this is just a forecast model. But if this is lasting, say, 4 or 5 hours, that's 4 or 5 inches of rain, or this is stalling right over that area. So if this is sitting for 12 hours, which is what's happening, you're getting 12 inches of rain. Ah, interesting, Delvin. So the updated temperatures that you're citing there, are those 30-year averages? Okay. Back to the game. That way. Back to game. We're just chopping some wood right now. You always gotta start with some wood. if I get any seeds around here. Alright, looks like the sun's directly overhead, so I'm halfway through the day here. Oh, I hear a chicken. There's a chicken. Might got some food. Kill it with a stick. Oh, it laid an egg too. I scared an egg out of it. Alright, so I got some wood, some sticks, an egg, a chicken, and some feathers. So now, let's start looking at some shelter. Oh, Raymond, yes, I did hear that Google lost the antitrust lawsuit. So, Google, we're gonna have to make some changes very shortly. Where on this ice kingdom should I make some sort of shelter? Should I make it at the water level, or should I make it up here? Oh, is this a cave? Or is this... Nope, not a cave. Might be some minerals over there. But let's see, because it feels like it's getting a little darker in this spot. I should look at making something... Oh, there's even minerals over here. Maybe not through stone. I think I'm going to choose this tree in order to use some dirt. To make a little shelter right in filling in or just checking up on your comments there. Interesting. Thank you for sharing the years there. Okay, Sean, you're going on a trip with your mom on Thursday. And go back to that. Oop, wrong side. This side here. Okay. So on Thursday, I believe if we go back into here, looks okay during the day. You're really not going to see anything unless you're in that southern Virginia part until maybe 4 or 5 p.m. Let's say 4 p.m. just to be on the safe side. So, Sean, it depends on the time of the trip. If it's before 4 p.m., I'd say pretty much anywhere in Virginia, totally fine. If it's after 4 p.m., specifically in the western half of Virginia, that's where it's really going to start getting bad. Anywhere else in Virginia, the wind is going to kick up to maybe 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, but the heavy rain is not really coming in just yet. And it's really focused in that western, not West Virginia, but western Virginia area. I'm going to Georgia for a trip. So if it's during the day, traveling from Virginia to Georgia, I not recommend. Because unless you go from Virginia, maybe through West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, around the tropical system. I'll even zoom in a little bit for you here. So there's the map. So, Virginia. I would not go straight south to Georgia, because you would be driving straight through the middle of Debbie. And I would not recommend that. Maybe change your route to head west and then south. So west, maybe out to Kentucky, and then south. South then through Tennessee, and then Georgia. Next Thursday. Okay. Much better by then. So let's hang on. Let me zoom out there. So if we go to next Thursday, which is actually a little bit beyond the normal forecast range I like. I really only like to go out a week, because beyond a week, it's not very accurate, these forecast models. Thursday, next Thursday. So you're talking the 16th. Sorry, 15th. So here's the picture for the 15th. Beautiful weather until we get into the overnight hours. And again, it's just some showers. It's very light green. There's nothing really too much to worry about. So if you're heading during the day, so this is 2 p.m. Thursday. If you're heading from Virginia to Georgia, you might have to deal with some wet roads, but depending on the exact route you're taking, but you'll be totally fine. For lightning, it again really depends on the exact route. So like this specific model. The forecast model ECMWF is basically just the European forecast model. If you're going from Virginia into Georgia, passing through South Carolina, the northwest parts specifically of South Carolina, there may be a shower with an embedded thunderstorm. You might see lightning. But if you head maybe kind of closer to the coast, you may not see anything until really overnight Thursday into Friday. There is another tropical system, it looks like, actually out there that the Euro is spinning up, but that's not going to affect the U.S. So next Thursday, if you're heading from Virginia to Georgia, lightning is really not going to be a big impact. It's really just showers you're going to see. What day is Debbie going to hit you? So not next Thursday, this coming Thursday. So right here. It's going to be Thursday. Well, also not during the day on Thursday. It's starting Thursday night. So Thursday the 8th into Friday the 9th. But I would honestly say Friday the 9th in the morning. That's where it's going to hit you. Thursday, you're pretty much going to be okay. Might be dealing with some showers, not really too much wind. So like the weather, the wind that you got from before, that you said 11 mile per hour wind, totally fine. I agree with that. But that's during the day on Thursday. But overnight Thursday, really starting after 4 or 5 p.m. Thursday into those nighttime hours. That's the heart of it. And going into Friday. That's where Debbie's going to hit you. The rain will be at night. Yes. The rain will be at night on Thursday. Oh, that is the radar now. Radar now. Let's take a quick peek. Severe thunderstorm warning is still there. Willingboro. Never heard of that. Have you heard of Willingboro? Willingboro is... Let me get a distance here. About 15 miles east of Philadelphia. Yeah. It's just north of Mount Holly. Yeah. My wife is from that area. She knows Philadelphia very well. She knows the Jersey side of Philadelphia very well. Sean, that is not Tornado Alley. However, Raymond, the other person in the chat there, enjoys talking about this because this is called Dixie Alley. That is very near Dixie Alley. So Tornado Alley is really from Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, all the way up through here. That's Tornado Alley. Dixie Alley is actually kind of right around that area. So that is not the main area for tornadoes, but it's a secondary area for tornadoes. And we have a northeast alley, which is actually, I was just going to mention. Jersey. It sounds weird, but Jersey has been quite the area for tornadoes recently. Sorry. My wife is a Jersey girl. I'm a New Yorker. We battle sometimes. Because I will say here on the stream that Jersey is the armpit dumpster state of the Union. Of the U.S. The armpit dumpster fire state of the Union. We would be better if Jersey didn't exist. Yes, it does. Jersey is... Gee. If there was a tornado there, the name would be Bob. Bob the Tornado. Tornado Bob. Yep. I'd agree with that. Jersey Tornado would be Tornado Bob. Tornadoes don't have names. There's too many of them. But if Jersey had a lay claim to a named tornado, it would be Bob. Because it's a mundane general. In that area where there's a lot of tornadoes, it's kind of south. Because you know you're from the south. She hates when I say that. She is from South Jersey. And from my experience traveling there, South Jersey is basically the same as like Tennessee or Alabama or something like that. Or South Carolina, where I like to bring out my Mark Twain kind of accent. He's leaving. Okay. Good night. I won't be too much longer. Yes, New York State has had a lot of tornadoes. 25 to 27 this year. Too many tornadoes in Massachusetts as well. Is Debbie moving right now? Debbie, actually, I would say is pretty stationary. Let's backtrack to right now. So here's the picture. This is there let me refresh and see if there's an updated model that run. We have the 18Z Euro, which usually does not happen. Well, let's take a peek. So Debbie is kind of stationary right between the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. That's really what's happening right there. It's barely moving. Oh, yes, Raymond. I agree with that. The New York State needs better communication with with severe weather. Why is she not moving? All right. So when we look at the picture here, usually what drives a tornado, or not tornado, I guess a tornado, but any kind of system is not the system itself, but something else. Everything's connected. So here, there's a high pressure. I believe there's a high pressure out here. That's the subtropical high. There's a high pressure that's spinning clockwise right over here. To the west, nothing. So this is spinning counterclockwise. This is spinning clockwise. This is actually, it's an 90-degree kind of like turned version of it, but this is kind of like what's called a Rex block. A Rex block kind of makes a figure 8 shape. So let's follow the path of the wind. So we have counterclockwise rotation around a low pressure center. For a high pressure center, we have clockwise rotation. So if there's an interaction between these two systems here, we're going to go counterclockwise around the low. That's going to follow in these lines here and go clockwise around the high, and then counterclockwise around the low, clockwise around the high. So essentially, it's canceling the movements out. Tropical storm in the Pacific. So that doesn't necessarily affect this. It's really what's right next to each other. So this high and this low. That counterclockwise and clockwise rotation creates this figure 8 movement. And that will cancel out each other's movement. So we've been talking really about Debbie. But if we follow this high right there, see it's not really moving either. Until something else comes in to disrupt these two together. This is called a Rex block, and it's a blocking pattern. There's a whole scientific thing about blocking patterns. And essentially, a blocking pattern means the weather's not changing. That's why, if you look at the low, I'll go back to the beginning. Let me leave my mouse right where the center kind of is with Debbie right there. And then we're just going to jump out a bit. So in 12 hours, Debbie moved from here to there. That's not a lot of movement. And then from here, let's go another 12 hours. So then Debbie moved from here to here. Very small amount of movement happening in 12-hour increments. The ones in the Pacific are Fabio and Amelia. That is good to know because I don't know if you were on yet in the stream, but I talked about some experimental weather forecast models. So in this hurricane section, the H Wharf, that's called. We have Debbie, Amelia, and Fabio. I thought that these were previous forecast model or systems. So if I click on Amelia, there's Amelia. It doesn't look like there's any land around it. So I don't think Amelia is going to be a problem for anybody there. And then Hurricane, H War, Fabio. There's also no land around here. Okay. Let's go to the National Hurricane Center. But we're going to go to the Pacific. Eastern Pacific. Oh, wow. I didn't realize how close they are. In the ocean, it's a storm for the fish. For Fabio and Amelia, again, a storm for the fish. It'll become a hurricane. They're forecasting Amelia to become a Hurricane Amelia. Now, the Atlantic and the Pacific have different name lists. Raymond, I am not allowed to comment on that as an Apple employee. The next name after Debbie will be Ernesto. Actually, I don't know. I haven't checked that. Hang on. I'll show you 1 second. Let's go to the end here. NHC Hurricane Names. Hurricane Names list. Atlantic. So here, we have 5 years. For 5 years, the names are already decided. So after Debbie is Ernesto. So Sean, you are correct. We have Ernesto, Francine, Gordon, Helene, Isaac, Joyce, Kirk, Leslie, Milton, Nadine, Oscar, Patty, Raphael, Sarah, Tony, Valerie, and William. There's also, for the media, because I do work in television, a pronouncer list. Here we go. Atlantic Pronunciation Guide. This is usually what we get. So here, let's say we're on Debbie. Debbie. There's a pronunciation. So here, Ernesto. Ernesto. For the, let's say one here, like Helene. Helene. Joyce. Joyce. Yes, I can comment on Meta and TikTok. However, I don't know much about what they're doing. Oh, Sean, that is something you cannot predict. That is something way too far out. However, we have seen some teases here. Let me go back here to the Euro. All right, so there's Debbie. Oh, let me go to the 12Z here so we get more time to deal with. Oh, right there. That little spin up with an L. That might be Ernesto right here, which is at the very end of this forecast model. 240 hours out. This is showing 8 a.m. That's 12Z. Friday, August 16th. That's when it's in the picture. However, that far out, I would not trust at all. But if it does form, and again, the Euro tends to be one of the more accurate ones with systems that form in the tropics. However, this is north of the tropics, so... And also, what I mean by the tropics is in terms of latitude and longitude, the bottom line here. So this is 22, let's say. 22 degrees north. That's actually more north of the tropics. The tropics are considered 20 degrees north to 20 degrees south. Oh, Tropical Tidbits has a YouTube, an X Twitter. That is what I'm calling it now, an X Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay. So Ernesto may be forming within that time frame of, say, Thursday, August 15th. But it's north of the tropics. That doesn't mean it won't be a tropical storm, but that means this particular forecast model, the European forecast model, may not have a good handle on it. So now let's switch to the GFS, which is the American model. See if it does anything. And it doesn't have anything. It doesn't have this little L, the low pressure center that forms here. Not a tropical system because it comes from the west in the U.S. It doesn't have anything. So that's where I don't believe anything 7 days, more than 7 days out. So anything beyond next Tuesday, so like next Thursday, I wouldn't believe. All right, back to the game. We're going to end the stream very shortly. I would at least like to get some shelter made. So I have a little nook, I would call this. Usually in Delvin, if you're still here, I would say my strategy for Minecraft is to explore a little bit where you spawn, and then as fast as you can make a shelter. Got some stone here. So that might just be my floor. A little bit of stone all around there. What we got around it? These might be stone floors with some rooms. Let me make this a room. Oop, nope, not the wood. We're gonna make this a room. Start first. This will be a room. Here's one room. This is gonna be another room right here. Nope, because that's stone. Also stone. One of these might be. Let's say this is. Alright, so there's some foundation laying out, I guess you could say. Yes, Sean, that is correct. I'm just saying it's really Debbie that's going to be an issue for us. Darker in here, so I'm assuming it's getting darker. Can't see the sun because it's probably beyond the hill over. Yeah, there's the sun. Okay, sun's about to go down there. Which is why I'm glad I made my little hole in the hill. Like a hobbit. This, I can heal up. Probably would do one more block there. That prevents the spiders from coming through. And also... Enderman can't get in the spot, so that's fine. You're probably going to call it right here. Stay there. Oop. There. A little bit out. Okay. There we go. Take a quick peek at the radar here. Alright, so still South Jersey has a lot. Switch to the Albany radar. There's a lot happening there. So, lots of rain coming through tonight, too. Okay. Oh, I hear the music now. All right, everybody. Sean, I want to say thank you for joining. Also, was that early? West Plays. Thank you as well. There was another new person, which was just your ordinary Dino fan. Thank you for joining. It was quite a fun stream, even though I was about an hour late, so I was about an hour different than what I should be right now. Usually I like to do these from about 7 to, say, 9:30 or 10, something around there. Camera issues, so I was an hour behind, but I'm here. All right. So overall, storms are possible overnight. I mean, it's really just the rain that we're going to see overnight tonight, and then on again, off again, showers and thunderstorms tomorrow and Thursday. Sean, for you, Thursday night, you're going to start seeing Debbie come through. Then it's going to pass through Thursday night to Friday. It's going to start entering the New York City area. Then later in the day, Friday into Saturday. So Debbie's going to be quite intense. And I will say, you should start your storm preparations right now going into tomorrow. And I will probably have a video coming out, a shorts video, that will be on how to prepare for a storm. So check back on the channel for that. All right, so this is going to be a wrap for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for the new subscribers. I'm slowly gaining traction with this channel, and I'm very excited for that. So hopefully one day I might be able to just do YouTube videos, and that's it. All right, so again, thank you all for joining. You get your emergency communications weather radios from my affiliate link in the video description. This is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Panero. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all in tomorrow's shorts and maybe next week for the live stream, or we'll see what happens. Maybe some more live content or just uploaded content with Debbie. But definitely start your preparations now. Stay safe out there, and I will see you all in the next video.
Thank you.